What's good people, and welcome back to the channel, Crewboy Productions. My name is BK, and this is the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy podcast, episode 58, podcast changes, along with the greatest showman and crouching tiger, hidden dragon stories. And in this episode, I'll be covering the changes to the podcast that I have made, along with a couple of stories from The Greatest Showman and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody is doing very well. I am back with another episode. This is going to be a full episode, so I hope you will join me. To the podcast audience that has been with me from the beginning on the audio side only, thank you so much from listening, and I really appreciate it. I know I've been away from a while, but I am back now, and hopefully I can start to get some more episodes out as we move forward here with these changes. All right, let's get into those changes. So one of the first things that I have changed is the name. I've changed the name slightly. I just removed the word sometimes just to shorten it a little bit. Also, I will no longer be covering sports. I've made the decision not to do that because I feel like I can contribute a lot more to the film, TV, and theater. So for those of you that have been listening for sports, I really appreciate it. Hopefully you will continue listening with me as I make this change. And of course, the big change, other than not sports, is obviously this podcast is now on video, as my face is now being put to the voice that has been all audio up until this point. So the episodes will continue to be audio only, and they will continue to be audio and video moving forward. So it will live here on this channel as well as on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Some other changes, I will also like to do some potential guests, because I have had a couple of people reach out to me late last year and early this year. And so once I'm getting my feet wet, so to speak, on this video side and all the technical stuff, hopefully I can have them on later this year, and who knows, maybe some other guests after those initial few. I'll continue to do the things I've been doing, obviously minus sports, and with the movie reviews, the spoiler reviews, I'll continue to do those, and also take a look at a lot of all the roles behind the camera and kind of see what they are, and then kind of reference some movies or shows in terms of how important they are. So that is one thing I would like to do as well, and perhaps look at older movies, not too old, but older movies as well, and dive into those also. So, and then obviously continue with the production stuff, and also with the theater, the Broadway shows. As I am able to see the Broadway shows, I would like to continue to dissect them as well. So I'll definitely continue to do that also. So those are most of, if not all of, the changes that I'll be making, that I have made. So hopefully you'll come along for the ride with me. So let's get into these couple of stories, starting off with The Greatest Showman. Of course, we all remember The Greatest Showman. The film came out back in 2017, late in 2017. And the film was directed by Michael Gracie, and it starred Hugh Jackman, Zendaya, Zac Efron, Rebecca Ferguson, Michelle Williams, along with many others. But those are some of the big names in the cast. And so I have two stories from that. And of course, also that movie turned out to be one of my favorite movies. I watch it every year and around Christmas time. So I love the movies. I love the songs from that film. And back on March 5th of this year, 2025, I received an email from Disney on Broadway. And I know And they have the email was about the Greatest Showman. And just kind of a precursor to that, it was announced a couple of years ago that The Greatest Showman, the movie, was being turned into a Broadway production. And I was really, really excited about that. And so it's been in development for the last couple of years. That was about 2 or 3 years ago they made that announcement. And so now I get this email, fast forward to March 5th, 2025. This email is saying that now that The Greatest Showman is going to be premiering in spring of next year, spring of 2026, and is going to be premiering at in London at the West End in London at the Bristol Hippodrome. So the show is going to be premiering next year in 2026. That's very exciting. And that also means once it premieres there in London, it will make its way obviously around the globe. And then it will come over here to the United States where we all can enjoy and see the show. So I'm excited to see how they are going to adapt this show. What are they going to bring over from the film in terms of everything, really adapting the story, the songs. What songs are they going to bring over? I'm sure there are going to be new songs along with the choreography. What are they going to bring? What are they going to not bring? How is the story going to be? What characters will they bring on from the film? I'm sure there will be brand new characters. The blocking of the show, how that's going to be on a stage, and how they're going to transition in and out of scenes, in and out of songs, all of that, the lighting, how is it going to work in terms of, and then will they have sand on the stage when they're in the tent? Will they do that? How are they going to incorporate these changes? The story, will it just be a brand new story completely? Maybe continue the story a little bit with some of those characters? Who knows? But I'm excited to see how it's going to be adapted on the stage. And of course, the songs, when we hear the orchestra play those songs live with all of the different instruments, that is something that is very, very exciting to me, to hear the music live with how they will arrange the songs in terms of the harmonies, the solos, the ad-libs, the arrangements, the ballads, the up-tempo songs, the slower songs, and just going through all of that, along with the company, like I said, singing together in harmonies. Maybe they'll do some rounds. So yeah, I'm getting all into the weeds of the details, but that's something I pay attention to and I listen to, as I generally listen to music and when I'm in the theater as well. But I'm very excited for how this is going to be adapted. So we'll see how that's going to go. And another story from The Greatest Showman, it involves one of the biggest songs in the film. And of course, I'm talking about Never Enough. Now, from time to time in a movie, there are the actors, they, obviously when there's songs involved, the actors are singing. And so there are times when the actor is the one that's actually singing the song for the film, because they are, multi-talented. Not only do they act, but they sing. And then there are times when the actor is not singing. They just kind of lip sync, and there is a vocalist that's singing the song, the majority of the song, for vocal reference. And so this instance for The Greatest Showman, there's about halfway through the film, Rebecca Ferguson's character is singing Never Enough. And the actual singer for that song is Lauren Allred. And at the time, she mentioned, this just, I guess, came out a couple years ago, that at the time they were filming this back in 2016, 2017, she wasn't ready to be in front of the camera. She felt more comfortable singing behind the scenes. And so that's what she did. So that is her voice you hear in the movie. And so we fast forward to years later. She went on America's Got Talent. I think she's been on twice, but the second time she went on to sing that song. She changed the arrangement a little bit, And one of the judges didn't know that it was her. She actually found out it was her that sung that song. The other 2 or 3 judges didn't know, along with the audience. And once she sang that song, it was revealed at some point in the show that she was the singer of that song, not the actress that was in the movie. And so everyone was really surprised. And so that's just a really cool nerdy fact nugget that, sometimes it is the person that is singing the song in the film. Sometimes it's not. So it just depends on the actor. And, some are multi-talented, can do all of those things, and some only just do the acting and a little bit of the singing. So that's just a cool fact to learn about The Greatest Showman. So, okay, let's move on to the last story I want to talk about, and that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Of course, this was a movie that came out way back in 2000. And there was a recent story that came out via an article from Deadline on Thursday, April 10th, 2025. And of course, now we find out that this film, or really the books, it's being turned into a show that will be on Amazon. And of course, going back to the movie was, like I said, back in 2000. It was directed by Ang Lee. And that year, it won 4 Oscars. It won Best Foreign Language Film, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction for set direction, and Best Original Score. And of course, it had a younger Michelle Yeoh in that great cast. It is one of those movies that is part of my DVD collection. That was before Blu-ray came out. But anyways, this show is the film and books are going to be turned into a series. And of course, this is coming from actual books. So there was a series of books that's called the Crane Iron Paintology books. They were published back between 1938 and 1944. There were 5 books that were published by Wang Du. And so this series is now in development, and so it's going to take some time. The creatives that are behind this is Jason Ning. And Jason Ning, he is a writer and executive producer. He worked on Lucifer. Of course, that show was on Fox for multiple seasons. Then it got canceled. Then Netflix picked it up for 2 seasons. That was a great show. I enjoyed that one. He's also he worked on The Brother's Son, a Netflix show I really enjoyed that got canceled. And then also involved in this is Ron Moore. He's an executive producer. He's worked on Outlander and For All Mankind, along with Sony TV, and Hong Wang and Quinn Wang from the Wang Du estate are involved in creating this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon series that will be coming to Prime Video. And of course, like I said, it's going to be in development. So that's going to take time in terms of the writing process and eventually casting and funding and, locations and concepts. So right now we're in 2025. I would not expect to, just my personal opinion, I'm not an expert on this, but I would say the earliest we would see this show is probably going to be sometime in 2027. If they just announced development, or maybe they are further in the development process by the time this article came out. But I would say the earliest this show is going to be coming out is going to be in 2027, possibly 2028. Especially, like I said, getting the writing down and the story down, and of course the casting and getting the action and the martial arts and how that's going to go. So hopefully 2027, 2028 is when I would expect to see the story. Of course, I could also be proven wrong. So very excited about it. I always love a good martial arts show or movie. So that was a good movie for the time. I've rewatched it a couple times. But I think that's all I'm going to have for you today. I'm wanting to cover those 2 stories about those 2 movies. Obviously, one coming to Broadway, one coming to Amazon Prime Video, and hopefully you will come along with me with all the changes I've made to the podcast as we go here on this YouTube channel and Spotify. So I hope you learned something. I hope you got a bit of a break from the day-to-day. Maybe you learned a little something, but that's all it's going to be for today. So please like the video, please subscribe, leave a comment, and follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast. And until next time, we will talk soon.